Thank you, Mr. Chairman. General Smith, it's good to have you back with us in good health, and I thank the rest of our witnesses for their service and also for being here today. However, I do share the concerns of many of my colleagues about the Navy's performance across the board and whether it's adhering to the FY24 NDAA. Last year, after months of hearings and briefings on known capability gaps in our nuclear deterrent, this committee determined that SLCM was the best option to fill this capability gap. In the FY24 NDAA, Congress, on a bipartisan and a bicameral basis, formally established a program of record for SLCM and appropriated significant funding to NNSA to develop the warhead and to the Navy to develop the missile itself. Admiral, during your nomination hearing last September, you testified before this committee that the nuclear-armed sea-launched cruise missile is, quote, a tailored option that the President should have, end quote. Do you still agree with this statement?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Secretary and Admiral, I am deeply concerned that the Navy did not request any funding for SLCM in their base budget or in the Navy's unfunded priorities list letter. This is a stark contrast to NNSA, which did include a robust funding request for development of the SLCM, the warhead, in their unfunded priorities list. Although the production decision remains years away, let me be clear. We expect the Navy to take all actions necessary to develop this missile so that if a decision is made to move to production, we can do so without delay. And I expect to see this program included in your base budgets moving forward. For the first time since World War II, to shift gears here, we have Navy ships continuously operating inside the weapon engagement zone of enemy forces. On a near daily basis, we're expending significant, highly capable, and expensive munitions to defend against low-cost missiles and drones. Mr. Secretary, we just heard concerns from Senator King, and you know those concerns come from others as well, that we need to be investing more in directed energy so that we can get on the better side when it comes to the cost per shot curve. But I am also concerned about our ability to reconstitute the missiles that we're expending right now. So, Mr. Secretary, how's the Navy reconsidering its industrial-based strategy to account for higher than expected levels of munition or weapon attrition?
Well, first and foremost, Senator, thank you for your support of our Navy and Marine Corps, and I know how deeply passionate you are around these issues. We just in the Red Sea over the course of the last 6.5 months have expended close to $1 billion in missiles, SM-2s, SM-6s, SM-3s. And thank you for the authorities that you provided us in 24, for example, for multi-year procurements for missile systems. We actually are starting to make progress now working with the industrial base. Both the Undersecretary of Defense for Acquisition and Sustainment and myself have been working with industry, and those production rates are actually starting to come up now so that we actually will see some increases in SM-2 and SM-6 productions. Obviously, the more sophisticated the missile, the harder it is to produce them. But nevertheless, we are starting to see some progress being made in the production base.
Okay, thank you. Also, Mr. Secretary, I understand that the next Rim of the Pacific exercise, it's scheduled for later this year, and that gives the Navy and the Marine Corps an opportunity to demonstrate their maritime combat capabilities. This is one of the many exercises that we have with our global counterparts. How's the Department of the Navy investing in these exercises to prepare for a potential power competition in the Pacific?
Exceptionally well, Senator. To give you just two examples, the investments that we've made in Operation Overmatch and perhaps just talk a little bit, although that is a classified program, but will be exercised during RIMPAC 24, basically. We've also increased our collaboration with allies and partners for RIMPAC 24, which is very, very exciting. And on the autonomous side of the house, the unmanned Navy side of the house, we're actually looking to actually employ all 4 Overlord projects as well, too, in an incredible way. So we're very excited about RIMPAC 24.
Thank you. General, how's the MRF Darwin integrating with the Australian Defence Forces?
Senator, the Marine Rotational Forces Darwin are down there during the dry season. They're integrating very well. They're exercising with them. They're in position to forward deploy from the southern end of the first island chain to secure those routes and to defend against the PRC's aggression. So they're doing very well, and it's a well-done program. It involves our CH-53s, and it involves an infantry battalion worth of Marines. It's task organized to distribute through the first island chain.
Good. A few years ago, I led a Codell when they were getting the barracks, the containers ready for the first Marines that were going to be deployed there. So good to hear. Thank you.